I was talking to a colleague yesterday, and he was sharing with me all of these wonderful goals that he has. And one of the struggles that he said he has in getting started is that even when he has an idea of what he wants to focus on, he keeps getting distracted by all the shiny objects in his life. And I shared with him that there's an approach that I take that I found particularly effective. And that is when you have one core goal, one that pulls you, one that you feel most compelled to do above all others. And there's various ways to find that. But just for the sake of our conversation here, let's assume that you know what that is. You found that core goal that you really want to give your effort to, but you also have something like ADHD, like myself, and you are subject to shiny object syndrome a lot. You're easily distracted, and you can get pulled down a rabbit hole here and there, and it can get you off course and waste a lot of time. So a metaphor popped into my head, like they often do when I'm in these conversations, and it really worked for him. So I wanted to offer it to you as well. And I said, well, imagine that you're out in public and you're walking with your girlfriend. You love her, you're committed to her, she's the one. But then another woman walks by. She happens to be attractive, and your eyes dart over to her for a second. Now, you don't choose to do that, it's automatic. Our brains are designed to look for these new novel things that might be pleasant to look at for whatever reason, and it just lasts a second or two. And it's not because you are planning to leave your girlfriend for this woman. It simply means that, hey, she caught my attention for a couple seconds, but your attention always comes back to her because she is your primary focus. She is where your heart is. She is where your focus is, just like your primary goal. Even though you got distracted temporarily, you know what your priority is. And that's the real key of a big goal, is that you can find your way back because there's something about it that made it more important than all these other distractions. One of the challenges we have with our goals is when we make them equal, is we give them all the same weight. Like, yeah, there's this thing I'm working on now, but I want to work on all these other things with the same intensity. That's where you run into issues. But if you find one and give it more juice, attach more importance and more urgency to it, then these other distractions won't have the same kind of pull or influence because they don't have the same kind of importance and urgency. So you can be out with your girlfriend or your guy friend, and even though your eyes get distracted every now and then, and ideally they don't get distracted at all because we know what kind of problem that can get us into, but understand that being distracted is not the same as being disloyal or being unmotivated or not caring about the goal. Because as long as you remember that the value is ultimately in where you started and where you decided your focus needs to be, and you can bring your focus back from the shiny object and bring it back to where you want to focus, then you are on track. Because when you have these inspirational moments that distract you from here and there, the problem isn't that you get distracted. The problem is that you remain distracted, and it keeps you off course and prevents you from moving forward. So, using metaphors like this can help you give yourself a little grace because you realize that these little moments of distraction don't just happen when you're trying to pursue your goals, they happen in life. They happen when you're driving and you're supposed to keep your eyes on the road, but then this really beautiful sunset or something catches your eye and you take your eyes off the road for a few moments. Does that mean you're a bad driver? No, it means you're momentarily distracted. You look at a member of the opposite sex when you're with your significant other. Does it make you a bad partner? No, it means you got distracted for a moment because ultimately you know where your priorities lie. So establish that goal for yourself, juice it up with meaning and purpose to keep you focused and grounded in it. And so when you get distracted, it's much easier to tell that you've strayed, and then you can bring your attention back and get back to work. So hopefully this metaphor was helpful for you. Give me some feedback on it. Let me know if this resonates. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll come up with something else for you. But in the meantime, put this to use, and hopefully it'll give you a little bit more grace for yourself and a little bit more momentum moving forward. Take care. We'll talk again soon.